When we think of India, some regions really stand out, but there's this one right in the heart of the country that often gets overlooked.
Mm.
Yet it's called the Rice Bowl of India. It has history going way back, like to the Ramayana, and waterfalls they call the Niagara of India. Sounds almost mythical, doesn't it?
It really does.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into Chhattisgarh, a state that's, well, a hidden gem, full of unique culture, surprising economic clout, and just incredible nature.
Absolutely. And Chhattisgarh, it just has so many layers to unpack. You've got the geology, the tribal heritage. It's deep.
Right.
So our mission today, using the sources you provided, is to pull out the key nuggets of knowledge, help you get really well informed about this diverse state.
Okay.
We'll try to connect the dots, geography, history, culture, economy.
Yeah.
Give you that full picture of what makes Chhattisgarh, well, Chhattisgarh.
Sounds good. So let's start with the foundation, the basics. It's actually quite a young state, isn't it?
Relatively, yes. Formed November 1st, 2000.
Right, carved out of Madhya Pradesh.
Exactly. And the capital, largest city, that's Raipur.
Raipur, okay. And it's pretty big, area-wise.
It is. About 135,000 square kilometers, makes it the ninth largest in India.
Ninth, okay. And it's divided into 33 districts now.
That's right, 33 districts. Population-wise, the 2011 census was about 25.5 million.
But it's grown since then.
Oh yeah, estimates now put it over 30 million. It's seen quite a bit of growth.
That growth is interesting, especially for a newer state. What about languages? Is it just Hindi?
Well, Hindi's the official language, yes. But step into Chhattisgarh, and you hear much more.
Like what?
You'll hear Chhattisgarhi widely spoken, and also tribal languages like Gondi, Halbi. It reflects the different communities there.
So that linguistic diversity hints at the cultural depth.
Precisely. It's a clue to the heritage we're about to get into. It shows how many different groups have shaped the region.
And geographically, you mentioned, it's central. Who are its neighbors?
It's bordered by quite a mix. You've got Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Telangana, Odisha, Jharkhand, and even a little bit of Uttar Pradesh.
Wow, okay. So it's really landlocked and central. And known for forests.
Definitely. Dense forests, plateaus, rivers, and significant tribal areas, often linked to those forests.
Rivers like the Mahanadi, I heard that's crucial.
Absolutely considered the lifeline. But also the Indravati, Shivnath, Hasdeo, vital for agriculture, for the whole ecosystem.
And the forest cover itself, how much are we talking?
About 44% of the land.
44%, that's huge.
It is. And that means, rich flora and fauna. It shapes life there, especially for the indigenous communities who live so closely with nature. It really sets Chhattisgarh apart.
That connection sounds deep. Does it stretch back into its history, too? You mentioned ancient roots.
Oh, absolutely. The history is incredibly old. This area was part of ancient Dakshin Kosala.
Dakshin Kosala, okay.
And it's mentioned in texts like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. So we're talking epic history.
What does that mean for the state today, having that kind of ancient background?
It means the roots run incredibly deep. You had dynasties like the Mauryas, the Kalchuris, the Marathas ruling over centuries.
Right. Then the British Raj period, before it finally became a separate state in 2000. All that history layered traditions and influences. So forming the state in 2000 allowed its own unique identity to really emerge.
Exactly. An identity shaped over millennia. It could finally step onto the national stage on its own terms.
And a huge part of that identity, it seems, is the tribal population. Yeah. The number that jumped out was around 30% scheduled tribes.
Yes, about 30%. Communities like the Gonds, Baigas, Orions, Halbas, Kamar, Korwas.
Why are they so central to understanding Chhattisgarh?
Well, they're more than just a demographic. They are, you could say, the living heart of Chhattisgarh's cultural uniqueness.
How so?
Through their unique dialects, their deep-rooted traditions, their incredibly vibrant folk music and dance. You have forms like Panthi, Raupnacha, Sela, plus their traditional jewelry, tattooing, handicrafts. And their indigenous practices are fascinating. Many follow animism.
Animism, meaning reverence for nature.
Deep reverence, yes, for trees, rivers, animals. It's not just belief, it shapes their sustainable lifestyle, their traditional healing using herbs, forest medicines. It's a culture living with the environment.
And that connection must flow into their art, like the Bill Metalcraft. Dhokra, is it?
Dhokra, yes, from Bastar. It's internationally known, quite beautiful.
But there's more than just Dhokra.
Oh, yes. Terracotta, wood carvings, wrought ironwork. Bastar art itself is actually GI tagged.
GI tagged, so its origin is officially recognized.
Exactly. And what's really remarkable about things like Dhokra and the Bastar ironcraft, they're ancient and eco-friendly.
How are they eco-friendly?
They're made without modern machinery, using local, natural materials and age-old techniques. It's sustainable practice passed down through generations. A powerful lesson, really.
That is interesting. Okay, let's switch gears a bit.
Yeah.
From ancient arts to the economy, it's called the Rice Bowl of India. Why?
Well, agriculture is huge there, particularly paddy cultivation rice, hence the name.
Just rice or other crops too?
Mostly rice, but also maize, pulses, oilseeds, sugarcane, so there's some diversity. But alongside that,
Yes.
it's a major industrial hub. Steel, cement, aluminum production is significant.
So it's got both agriculture and heavy industry. That's quite a mix.
It is, and the industry is fueled by incredible mineral wealth.
Right, I read about that. Coal, iron ore.
Coal, iron ore, bauxite, limestone, dolomite. It's very rich. And the amounts are substantial.
How substantial?
Chhattisgarh produces something like 15% of India's steel.
15%.
And maybe 30% of its coal. It's huge.
Wow. So which cities are the industrial centers? Raipur again?
Raipur, definitely. Also, Bhilai, Korba, Durg. Bhilai is famous for its steel plant.
The Bhilai steel plant, that's one of the big ones set up with Soviet help, wasn't it?
That's the one, back in the 1950s. A cornerstone of India's early industrialization.
So connecting the dots, this mineral wealth and agricultural output, it's not just important for Chhattisgarh itself.
Not at all. It's crucial for India's whole economy, industry, food security. Plus, it generates a lot of power, one of India's largest power generation capacities.
Okay, so it's an economic powerhouse. But let's talk about the natural beauty, the waterfalls.
Ah, yes. Chitrakote Falls in Bastar. That's the one called the Niagara of India.
Why that comparison?
Because it's incredibly wide, especially during the monsoon. It's actually India's widest waterfall then.
India's widest. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are others.
Yes, Chitrakote Falls, that's in Kangar Valley National Park, also very beautiful.
In Kangar Valley National Park. What else is there?
It's known for limestone caves like Kodamsar Cave.
Kodamsar, I read that's one of the longest in India.
Second longest natural cave, yes. And the park has great biodiversity. Then you have other sanctuaries like Barnopara and Akanakmar.
Wildlife spots.
Exactly. And on a different scale, it has Asia's largest man-made lake, the Indravati Reservoir.
Wow. So nature is definitely a major draw. What about spiritual or historical sites? Temples?
Plenty of those, too. Dangargarh has the Ma Bambleshwari Temple, a really important hilltop shrine.
Okay.
Then there's Rajim, known as the Prayag of Chhattisgarh. It hosts its own Kumbh Mela.
Kumbh Mela in Chhattisgarh. Interesting.
And the Danteshwari Temple in Dantewada, that's one of the 52 Shakti Pithas. Very significant.
And historically important sites beyond just temples.
Sirpur is a key one, an ancient site with both Buddhist and Hindu roots. It was even praised by the Dalai Lama.
Oh, really?
It's believed to have remnants of ancient Buddhist universities, and they host an international dance and music festival there now, connecting past and present.
Sounds fascinating. Any other architectural gems?
The Buramdeo Temple, often called the Khajuraho of Chhattisgarh.
Because of the carvings?
Yes, intricate, beautiful carvings. Really showcases the artistic heritage.
Moving to celebrations. The festivals sound unique. Bastar Dussehra?
Yes. Not like Dussehra elsewhere. It's a 75-day tribal festival.
75 days. Wow.
A massive, unique celebration. And you have others like the Madai Festival, also tribal, plus seasonal ones tied to agriculture, Hareli, Pola, Tija, Navakana.
These festivals sound like a window into the culture.
They absolutely are, deeply tied to community life and the seasons. And for visitors, beyond festivals, there's interesting tourism developing.
Like what? Offbeat stuff?
Yeah, camping, ecotourism in places like Barnowapara, Kangar Valley, but also tribal tourism.
Tribal tourism, how does that work?
Particularly in Bastar, which is a hub for this, you can have guided experiences, actually live among tribal communities for a short time.
So it's more immersive than just watching.
Exactly. An authentic cultural exchange focused on understanding their way of life and crafts, less observation, more participation.
Okay, it's clear there's a deep traditional base. But how is Chhattisgarh dealing with modernity? Education, for example.
Making good progress there. You've got premier institutes like IIM Raipur, NIT Raipur, AIMS Raipur.
Top-tier institutions.
Yeah. Yes. Plus engineering and medical colleges, and importantly, government efforts to boost literacy, especially among tribal groups. Inclusion is key.
And are they using technology?
Yeah.
Digital initiatives?
They are. Things like CGPSC online for state services, e-district portals, tracking school attendance digitally, plus smart city projects in Raipur and Bilaspur, and efforts in telemedicine and online schooling trying to reach those remote tribal areas.
That digital push seems important for bridging gaps.
Very much so. It's part of their strategy for growth, even in challenging areas.
Speaking of strategies, I read about some really unique government schemes. Narva, Garva, Gurva, Bari.
Ah, yes. That's a fascinating rural development model. Focuses on streams, Narva, cows, Garva, compost pits, Gurva, and backyard farming, Bari. Very holistic and local.
Seems very grounded. And then there's one about buying cow dung.
The Godhan Yojana. Yes, a first in India. The government buys cow dung from villagers.
Buy that. To do what?
To make organic manure and biofuel. It connects environmental sustainability with economic benefit for villagers. Really innovative.
That is remarkable. What about things like food distribution?
They have a universal public distribution system, the PDS. In some areas, even middle-class families can get subsidized food. It shows a broad focus on food security.
Interesting. And the political scene. Who are the main players?
Primarily the Indian National Congress and the BJP. Politics there often reflects the state's social fabric, with caste and tribal identity playing significant roles in elections.
Right. And leaders like Ajit Jogi, the first CM, and more recently, Dr. Raman Singh Bhupesh Baghel. They've shaped its path.
Indeed. It's a dynamic political environment.
Beyond politics and schemes,
Right.
Does Chhattisgarh have its own film industry?
It does, fondly called Tollywood.
It's Hollywood. Okay. Any famous films?
Movies like Morchankhapuyan Maya are well known regionally, and there's a literary scene, too. Figures like Dr. Vinay Kumar Pathak, Samar Bahadur Singh. But just as important are the living traditions, folk tales, oral epics, tribal storytelling. Still very much alive.
Passing down history orally.
Exactly. And speaking of traditions, we have to mention the food.
Ah, yes, the cuisine. What's distinctive?
Lots of local flavors. You'll find things like chana samosa, farah, bafari, chana bhajia. Delicious traditional snacks and dishes.
Farah, bafari. What are they?
Farah is like a steamed rice flour dumpling, often savory. Bafari uses lentil paste, also steamed. Very healthy, actually.
That's good. Anything really unique?
Bourbasi is quite unique. It's rice soaked in water overnight, eaten the next day, usually in summer, with maybe some chutney or salt. It's a natural coolant.
Interesting, like a simple, traditional way to beat the heat.
Exactly. And then there's mahua liquor, the tribal drink made from mahua flowers, culturally very significant.
And they use local ingredients a lot. Millets, forest produce.
Definitely. Millets like kodo, kutki are common. And things from the forest like tamarind, karanji nuts. The cuisine really reflects that connection to the land.
Okay, so we've painted a picture of culture, nature, economy. But there are challenges too, right? The sources mention Naxalism.
Yes, that is a significant challenge, particularly in some southern districts like Dantewada, Sukma, Bijapur. It's often referred to as left-wing extremism or Maoist insurgency.
And the government response?
It's been twofold, really. Security operations combined with development programs trying to bring peace and progress to those areas. It's complex.
And just to be clear, we're reporting on what the sources state about this issue.
Absolutely. It's a reality the state is navigating. And it raises that bigger question, How does a place manage such diverse challenges?
Right. Balancing tradition, modern growth, security.
Exactly, while still preserving its unique cultural core. But Chhattisgarh shows a lot of resilience. Raipur, for instance, is one of central India's fastest growing cities.
That shows momentum. Any other sort of fun facts or unique points?
Well, that thing about underground markets in Bastar is pretty cool. Yeah. Built underground to keep cool naturally.
Indigenous air conditioning?
Kind of. And the name Chhattisgarh itself, 36 forts, even if historians debate the number, it evokes a rich past.
And Bastar keeps coming up as culturally distinct.
It really is one of the most unique tribal belts in India. These details help complete the picture.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway? Chhattisgarh isn't just the rice bowl.
Far from it.
It's this land of ancient stories, vibrant tribal life, industrial strength, stunning nature, and a real spirit of progress.
It really blends the old and the new, deep tradition meeting modern ambition. It shows how a region can use its past to build a unique future.
It really does seem to embody that mix.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this deep dive, maybe think about how culture, geography, and development really weave together to shape a place's identity. Perhaps you'll be curious to explore more about how those unique tribal practices might influence sustainable development efforts there. Or maybe just wonder what other hidden gems Chhattisgarh holds.